Before I get started, I should warn you, this video is completely unscripted, so it might be an absolute car crash. I have a rough idea of where it's going to go, but I am winging it. I wasn't planning to record anything today because, and I'll throw this in again at the end of the video, when I get to the bit where I say, if you want to support me making these videos, it's because today is my birthday. So why am I out ranting today? Well, Mrs. Disgruntled asked, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I replied, I just want to watch Eliza Schlesinger's new special on Amazon, and I've now done that. Because Eliza, I think she's absolutely hilarious, and her brand of feminist comedy means that I'm not only laughing, I'm also making notes on how the female mind works. And to be blunt, she's not bad to look at. To the point that Mrs. Disgruntled remarked, her outfit doesn't leave much to the imagination. And I said, well, given that she's in her 40s, she's in great shape. I follow her on Instagram, to which the wife replied, yes, I bet you do. But since then, the wife has gone to sleep on the sofa, so I'm out having a rant at the nature reserve. So this video is roughly about politics. It's about those over on the far left. And for me, the far left and the far right are as bad as one another. Except the far left label everyone who doesn't agree with them to the letter as Nazis. Earlier this week, I did an interview with a YouTube legend. The link is up on my channel. And we got talking about politics. Andy, if you're watching, I've seen the comments. Sorry, mate, fuck me, you've caught some flack for having me on your channel. And I said, politically, I'm on the centre-right, but 20 years ago, I would have said I'm on the centre-left. My politics haven't changed, it's just the left has gone so far left, to the point that it's just farcical. And most of this video will be about politics over in the New World. But I'll start by talking about our gallant Prime Minister. So, Sir Keir Starmer. I'll be blunt, I didn't know it was possible for me to hate someone to the level I hate our Prime Minister, to the point where it's become irrational. And I know it's irrational. I could be listening to a podcast about Joseph Stalin, the Soviet man of steel who murdered millions in the gulags and in the Great Terror. And I'll find myself thinking, yeah, but Stalin didn't take away the winter fuel allowance from pensioners and put up taxes when he said that he wouldn't. And a few things came out about Keir Starmer. Allegedly, he broke lockdown rules by having a voice coach over on Christmas Eve. I think it was 2020. Now, if he broke lockdown rules, that wouldn't surprise me because, in my opinion, the man is incapable of telling the truth. But he had a fucking vocal coach. What did he sound like before? Even now, the man sounds like an AI with a software glitch. The sat-nav in my car sounds more human than he does. But I think I've cracked the mystery. I think his vocal coach was Zippy from Rainbow. And if you're under 40 and not from the UK, you won't have got that joke. He also said his favourite meal to make with his family is a ham pasta bake. And that has to be a lie as well. And why? Well, Keir Starmer's wife is Jewish, ergo his children are also Jewish. So either he's making it up, and that wouldn't surprise me, or he's saying the favourite meal I can make at home is the one where I force-feed non-kosher products to my Jewish family. And the man is so out of touch, it wouldn't surprise me if he went to Jerusalem to set up a hog roast and prawn cocktail bar. Yet, as much as I cannot stand the man, I don't wish death upon him, because he's got a wife and children. But, as we'll see today, on the other side of the Atlantic, the far left there are openly calling for the assassination of President Donald Trump. And it does shock me that Trump is the leader of the free world. Although I think he's toned it down a lot from his first term. Back in 2016, every morning I'd wake up and just check that we hadn't been nuked. And I've said many times, I'm not really a fan of Trump. It isn't his policies or his politics. It's just the way the man talks. And I won't try and do the voice, but I'll do the ramble because he never gives a concise or clear answer. Say someone asked him, Mr. President, what do you think of trees? He'd say, oh, I love trees. I love all trees. There are so many trees. Trees, they're great. They're so great. The trees are just so great. We've got so many trees here in America. It's the best country ever. We have the best trees. We have the best trees. Here we have this is a silver birch, but under my presidency soon, there won't be silver birches. There'll be gold birches. We're going to have gold birches because the trees are great. And the leaves, there's no leaves at the minute, but sometimes the leaves are green and sometimes they're brown and sometimes they're yellow. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you on about? So today, because I finally got to where I want to be, we'll see a number of people wishing terrible things on the president himself and also just Republicans in general. Let's begin.
Hey, did anybody else write the names of Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, Stephen Miller, Nancy Mace, and Greg Abbott on a piece of paper, and then take that piece of paper, put it into a jar with some ash and some dirt from the part of the yard where the dogs like to crap, and then get some dirty toilet water and put that in there too, along with some cayenne pepper and some chili powder, some red pepper flakes, and Old Bay seasoning for good measure, and then take it outside, shake it vigorously, while saying some really hateful intentions under the full moon last night, and then leave that out all night under the full moon, and then this morning pick it up and put it in a dirty, sad, musty spot in your garage? Or was that just me?
So let's start with the positive. She isn't practicing voodoo because as a white woman, that would be cultural appropriation. But as for witchcraft, we've all met people who say they practice witchcraft, and of course, they don't really do anything because magic doesn't fucking exist. I am fascinated as to where she's getting dirty toilet water because, call me old-fashioned, but when I use the water closet, when I'm finished doing one's business, I then flush it, and the bowl is then full of clean toilet water. Her house must be bloody terrible, and hateful intentions under the full moon. How does that differ from any other night of the month? It doesn't. The moon isn't a magic thing. It's a fucking satellite orbiting the Earth. And witchcraft, pagans, Wiccans, all of those people, I can guarantee if you've met them, they have no personality whatsoever. They're desperate to appear interesting. In many ways, they're the forerunner of people who say they're fucking non-binary. Moving on.
I don't give a fuck! Just kill him! You have to! I'm not asking!
Given that there have already been 2 attempts on Donald Trump's life, I find it slightly shocking that there are people, and we'll see more of them, openly calling for him to be assassinated. I've never seen anyone on the political right do this. Like I say, I can't stand Keir Starmer, but I've never thought, well, it looks like we're getting 2-tier justice, let's call in a fucking hitman. That being said, that woman, she would make a pretty good death metal singer, were it not for that female death metal singers, rightly or wrongly, tend to be very attractive and not slightly pudgy with glasses that look like she got them off the NHS in 1982.
This message is for the cartel. We didn't ask for this. We don't want any problems with you. Honestly, I was a big fan of your products in my 20s, okay? I had a lot of fun. But might I suggest breaking the rules, get high on your own supply, and the man you're looking for lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. Maybe pay him a little visit.
Asking for help from the cartel, whilst openly admitting to recreational drug use. And I think we know the drug she's talking about, the white powder one. Of course, I'd never do that anymore. I'm middle-aged and married. Yet, the thing I find fascinating is she gives the address as if it's cryptic. Love, just say the fucking White House, because if Carlos and Pablo do drive up in the hire car following the sat-nav, they'll know where they're going. They won't get there and be shocked, thinking, oh, we've seen this place before. I bet security's really tight on this hit we're going to carry out for the woman with the terrible haircut. Coming from me.
Casey Anthony to do it. And we all know what it is. You've done it before, and you can do it again, this time for a good cause. You trying to get on this app and win us back? There's only one way to do it, sister. If you don't believe me, check the comments. Everybody that agrees with me in the comments, say aye. We need somebody like you. But I nominate you.
I apologise here for being an ignorant middle-aged white man and being culturally thick, but why are there so many African-American women wearing what appear to be shower caps? Because, in my opinion, they look fucking horrendous. And she's talking about apps. Am I missing something here? Because we all know what she's alluding to. I've got apps, I've got X, TikTok, I've got Facebook because I'm old. I don't have Snapchat. But is there an app called, My Assassin Buddy or Assassinate the President Friends United? What the fuck is she on about? One clip left. Right, this is a serious point. Thus far, we've only seen women. The last clip has a man in it, and it's the worst type of man, and this is a trigger warning. I'm half expecting the video to either get age restricted or pulled because I'm not going to edit what this man says because it's utterly repugnant. Again, a trigger warning, there's about to be mentions of sexual violence.
I would like to see all Republican women or any woman who voted for Republicans or Trump to be gang raped on national television. I think that would be just very cathartic for us normal humans to see these, I guess, humans just absolutely destroyed on national television. If you see Randy Newman, tell him hi for me.
Okay, I'll try and keep it light. Let's not get into that it looks like he's wearing mascara and lipstick. What he does in his own home, that's up to him. But to me, that sums up everything wrong with the far left. That is a man calling for women to be publicly gang raped because they have a different political opinion to him. And as a former therapist, and yes, it amazes me as well, I've worked with many survivors of sexual violence, and to me, that crime is just as bad as murder, if not worse, because murder victims, they're dead. Their suffering ends there and then. For survivors, it carries on often for the rest of their lives, and for him to wish that on people because they have a different fucking opinion. What a piece of shit. In fact, any of my friends watching in the new world, if you can identify that man, please report him to the relevant authorities, because I bet after he spent a couple of nights in prison getting gagged himself, he'll change his tune. Once he's been in the cells and wakes up the next morning and has to knit himself a new arsehole. Like I said, I consider myself centre-right, although those on the far left would label me far-right. And even if that were the case, I've never deluded myself that I'm carrying out some sort of witchcraft or black magic. I've never called for the assassination of a head of state. And I've never wished the violation of half the women of the United States of America. Anyway, that's the end of this video, and yes, it was a car crash. If you made it this far, well done. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you can leave a comment and a like rating, that really helps the algorithm. And as it's my birthday, I'm chancing my arm here. If you'd like to support me making these videos, there's a link in the description if you'd like to buy me a coffee, and as ever, thanks for watching. It doesn't surprise me that he may or may not have broken lockdown rules because I think he's incapable of telling the truth. But he had a fucking vocal coach. Keir Starmer sounds like the human version of a dial-up modem. I wrote it down a lot from his 2016 presidency, although, fuck it. In the distance, I can hear a quad bike. If you hear that noise, that heralds the arrival of a moron. It would be considered cultural appropriation. And of course, no one really practices witchcraft because magic doesn't exist. That being said, advice to any young heterosexual men watching, if you meet a young lady who says she's a witch, get with her because they're all fucking filthy. Being said, she would make a pretty good death metal singer. Albeit that death metal singers tend to be very attractive. Female death metal, fucking bollocks to it. Apparently the nature reserve, fuck it. Apparently the nature reserve is now a race circuit. Fucking twat. Asked me what I'd want to do for my birthday. If I'd asked for a three-way with Sabrina Carpenter and Dua Lipa, I think she would have hit me.